Don't scroll. Today I'm going to take you on a journey. Not a boring lecture, not some complicated theory, but a real story that could completely change the way you look at money, wealth, and your future. Let's start with a young man named Daniel. Daniel worked at an office. He woke up at 7 a.m., took a crowded bus, sat in his chair for 9 hours, came home tired, and repeated the cycle again and again. His salary was okay, but every month most of it went into rent, bills, groceries, and just surviving. He had dreams of traveling, starting his own business, and helping his family live a better life. But at the end of every month, he was left with just a few dollars. One evening, walking home, Daniel noticed something strange. On the corner of his street was an old broken building. The paint was faded, the windows cracked, the roof damaged. Everyone in the neighborhood avoided it. Some even laughed about it, calling it the ghost house. But Daniel felt something different. He didn't see the broken windows. He saw possibility. He didn't see a ghost house. He saw an opportunity. That night, he couldn't sleep. He kept thinking, what if I could buy that place? What if I could repair it? What if people paid me to live there? The thought was crazy. He had no money, no experience, no contacts. But something inside him whispered, why not? Over the next weeks, Daniel started reading about real estate. He discovered that some of the richest people in the world didn't become rich by working harder at a job. They became rich by owning assets. Land, buildings, apartments, things that create money even when you're sleeping. He read about appreciation, how property values increase with time. He read about cash flow, how rent brings income every single month. He read about leverage, how banks give you loans because property is a strong asset. Daniel realized something powerful. If he continued his job, in 10 years he might save a little money. But if he owned even a small property, in 10 years that property could double in value and pay him every single month. He took the boldest step of his life. He went to the owner of the broken building and started negotiating. The owner was tired. He just wanted to get rid of it. Daniel didn't have the full money, but he managed a small loan, added his little savings, and somehow bought it. At first, everyone laughed at him. His friends said, "You've wasted your life savings on trash." His colleagues joked, "Why would you buy a broken house?" Even his family was worried. But Daniel kept working on it. Slowly he repaired the walls, fixed the windows, painted the rooms. Step by step, that ghost house started to shine again. Within 6 months, he rented out the first unit, then the second, then the third. And one day, he looked at his bank account and realized something unbelievable. The rental income he was getting every month was more than his salary. That was the day Daniel's life changed forever. Now let's pause for a moment and think. Why did this happen? Why is real estate so powerful? Let me break it down. 1. Appreciation. Over time, property prices tend to rise. A piece of land bought today for $50,000 could be worth $150,000 in 15 years. Unlike a car, which loses value, real estate usually grows in value. 2. Cash flow. Rental income is steady. Month after month, tenants pay you. It's like planting a tree that keeps giving fruit every season. 3. Leverage. If you want to buy $100,000 worth of stocks, you need $100,000 in cash. But if you want to buy a $100,000 house, sometimes you only need $20,000, and the bank pays the rest. That means you control a big asset with a small amount. 4. Tax benefits. In many countries, property owners enjoy tax reductions. Repairs, interest payments, even depreciation can reduce how much you owe in taxes. But let's be honest, it's not always easy. There are risks. Property markets can go down. Tenants may not pay on time. Repairs can be expensive. But here's the truth. Every business, every investment has risks. The difference is, real estate gives you control. If your tenant doesn't pay, you can replace them. If your property is old, you can renovate. You are not just watching numbers go up and down on a screen. You actually own something real. Let's get back to Daniel's story. As months passed, Daniel's confidence grew. He bought a second property, then a third. At first it was scary, but every property he bought taught him lessons. He learned to study neighborhoods. Is there a school nearby? A hospital? A shopping center? Are people moving into the area or leaving it? He learned to calculate rental yield, the percentage of income compared to the price of the property. Over 5 years, Daniel built a small empire. He no longer depended on his salary. In fact, he left his job and started helping others understand real estate. People who once laughed at him now came to him for advice. The ghost house that everyone avoided became the foundation of his freedom. And here's the truth. Daniel's story is not unique. Thousands of people across the world have changed their lives through real estate. Some start small, buying a tiny piece of land. Others start by renting out a single room. Step by step, they grow. The beauty of real estate is that it doesn't ask, "Are you rich already?" It only asks, "Do you have vision and patience?" Now, let me share something powerful with you. Imagine two friends, Alex and Mark. Both earn the same salary. Both live in the same city. Alex spends his salary on gadgets, parties, and a fancy lifestyle. At the end of the month, his bank balance is almost zero. Mark, on the other hand, saves carefully. After 3 years, he buys a small apartment with a loan. At first, it looks like a burden. He has to pay the bank every month. But soon, his tenant's rent covers the loan. After a few years, the loan is finished, and now Mark owns an asset that gives him income forever. Fast forward 15 years. Alex is still working, tired, waiting for promotions, hoping for a raise. Mark, on the other hand, owns multiple properties. His rental income pays for his children's education, his vacations, and his comfortable lifestyle. Same salary, same start, but two completely different destinies. Why? Because Mark understood the power of real estate. Let's talk about the deeper meaning here. Real estate isn't just about money, it's about security. When you own land, you have something no one can take away easily. It's about pride. Your children grow up knowing their family owns something solid. It's about legacy. Long after you're gone, your property can support your family for generations. Think about history. Kings, emperors, rulers, their power was always measured in land. Even today, when you look at the richest families, their wealth is tied to property. Cities grow, populations rise, but land remains limited. That's why its value keeps increasing. Daniel wasn't rich. He wasn't special. He wasn't lucky. He was just courageous enough to take the first step. And that first step changed everything. You don't need millions to start. You don't need to wait for the perfect time. You just need vision and courage. Now here's the truth. I don't want you to just listen to my words and move on. I want you to take this story, hold it tight, and use it to fuel your journey. Because one day, I want you to tell your children, your friends, your family, this was the story that changed my life. This was the moment I decided to act. Don't forget this story, otherwise you will regret. And if you're serious about building wealth, if you're serious about breaking free from financial stress, then don't stop here. Subscribe to our YouTube channel right now.